Hello everyone, my name is FireFan22, and today we're going to be talking about BFDI mysteries. Because there are many unsolved mysteries in BFDI, like why is one evil? Or where do objects come from? Like, do they have parents? And who exactly is Bozo? All those questions and more will be answered in this video. So without further ado, let's start theorizing. So the first theory we're going to be talking about today is, why is one evil? I think I know.
Well, every time that 1 and 3 hung out together, they always were in a bitter mood because they felt like they were treated as unlucky, so they never hung out ever again.
There's a lot of bias against the number 13.
So if society can learn to love the number 13, they will hang out again.
Just embrace.
What you just saw was a question being asked at the BFDI panel at VidCon 2025, which happened just a few weeks ago. A fan asked, will 1 and 3 be working together? While they didn't reveal much, Carrie did say that 1 and 3, if they come together, they're always angry because they're treated as unlucky. Now, the number 13 is considered very unlucky in many cultures, and there are a variety of different reasons why. But whatever happened, something happened that made the number 13 very unlucky to the Algebraians, resulting in them being harsher to the number 13. And so, I suppose we can infer by this comment that maybe 1 and 3 used to be friends, but they were forced apart due to the number 13 being seen as unlucky, and 1 and 3 makes 13. Well, technically, 3 plus 1 is 4, but 1, 3, that's 13. So maybe 1's just very angry. Maybe she's just mad that the other numbers forced her and her best friend apart. Maybe this is why 3 is locked up, as we see in Teapot 11. So maybe 1 wanted to get revenge. But why is she doing this now? Well, let's talk about that. Speaking of the Algebraians, what happened to them? According to 6 and Teapot 17, she claims that she's the last of her kind.
This is my home, and I'm the last one left, so I don't know who you're talking to.
So something must have clearly happened to them. Well, here's what I think happened. After 1 and 3 were separated, 1 went crazy and tried to kill everyone. Maybe this is how she got her powers. She discovered some kind of special potion thing or something like that, and she got powers and tried to kill everybody. I think also she gave some of these powers to other Algebraians. This is how 2 and 4 had their powers. I think they actually might have worked together to kill everyone here, because 6 also wonders in Teapot 17 if 4 is working with 1.
She was meant to be gone. How did this happen? Was it 4's doing?
You know 4 too?
Of course.
And 1 claims that 2 is an old friend of hers, so safe to assume they were probably working together, and I bet 3 was also working with them. But what I think happened is that 4 was regretful for his actions, and so he salvaged what he could. He kept 6 inside of him and protected her for many years, and he probably locked up the other numbers for doing bad stuff. He locked 1 in the moon, he locked 2 somewhere in space, meaning that the first time you see 2, he's coming towards the Earth, and he put 3 inside of him, which is why we see 3 inside of 4 at the end of Teapot 11. So, I feel like that theory is more of a hypothesis, but it does help explain everything. Why 4 doesn't want the other contestants to go outside the exit. It's because he's afraid of them awakening 3. So the next question I want to answer is, where do objects come from? Like, do they have parents? Because we never hear them bring up their parents at all. However, I think we can get a pretty good idea of where they come from thanks to Eggy. See, in BFB4, there's a scene where Eggy explains to Teardrop about her past.
Hi, Teardrop. Even though my story might not be super interesting to you, I decided I'll tell it anyway. So it all began when I was a baby egg, you know, an egg inside of an egg, exception, if you will. It was very cozy, and at that moment, I realized I was pretty content. I had everything I needed. I didn't need to complain for more. So I thought, why shout? Why even say anything? As you see, that's how I, as a small egg, never really spoke much and blah blah blah.
Notice how she said, egg inside of an egg. This infers that maybe objects come from eggs. But where did those eggs come from? A chicken? Well, yeah, probably. There's something that Eggy says right before her elimination in Teapot 6 that kind of stands out to me.
Eggy's out with 2,404 votes. One last sentence, Eggy.
I will finally give the answer to if I came first or the chicken. So basically...
She mentioned chickens, guys. Maybe that's where the objects come from, like some kind of bird. It is possible that they come from another thing that hatches eggs, like fish or amphibians. But then, why don't those objects talk about their parents? Well, I have 2 theories on why. The first one is that their parents just kind of leave them once they hatch the eggs. It isn't uncommon in the animal kingdom. Some animals, like fish and amphibians, do this. They just kind of hatch their eggs, then they go away. But the second theory is kind of darker, and it's that these birds have actually gone extinct, and all the citizens survive thanks to recovery centers. Maybe this is why the recovery centers were made, so the population wouldn't go down. It's kind of grim when you think about it. Though there is the possibility that these objects do get adopted because BFDI Mini Delicious has a character named Cake's dad, and it looks like Cake. We know BFDI Mini's canon thanks to T-Bot 15. So maybe these objects do technically have parents, but they're just adopted, while their real biological parents are chickens that either left them or have gone extinct. If you really pay attention to the stuff that goes on in BFDI, you'll notice that the hosts are kind of the worst people ever. Ford is responsible for killing a lot of the contestants a lot of the times. An announcer, yeah, he just locks everyone out. The hosts, mainly. The main crimes that the hosts commit is just killing people and locking them up forever. Have you ever seen those videos where BFDI characters get charged for their crimes? There is a reason why in those videos that Ford is responsible for 34 or so different crimes. And just remember, that video came out over a year ago. Who knows how much it is updated? The announcer too, he has 6 death penalties. Count them, 6. Even contestants like Yellowface are responsible for a lot of crimes. But despite all of that, none of them are ever in trouble for it. They never get arrested or anything like that. And the first thing I want to explain in this theory is that a justice, like a legal system, does very clearly exist in the show. Ford literally gets arrested in the episode, not because he killed anyone, but rather because he used someone else's courtroom without a permission. That's literally the whole challenge of BFB 23. Additionally, there's some recommended characters like income registered tax documents suggesting laws about taxes exist in this universe. And in another episode, Gelatin says this.
Can't be loser. Last time I impersonated him, I got arrested and put on probation.
And it's not like crimes surrounding murder don't exist in the BFDI universe. In Teapot 18, there's a scene where Flower and Gelatin literally get arrested for supposedly killing a bunch of recommended characters that got burned down in a building.
I'm here at the site of Flower and Gelatin's shirt steak extravaganza, where a tragedy struck this morning after the duo's negligence led to a massive blaze that quickly engulfed the entire building. Everyone involved in the tragedy has been recovered, but the trauma is still present. The victims say they are prepared to
Must
sue
be a
Flower and
slow
Gelatin
news
for
day.
everything they have. Now live from the office of Flower and Gelatin as they are being taken into police custody. Sources say they will be held without bond until their court date.
So clearly a legal system exists in BFDI. But why don't the host ever get, and the contestants ever get charged for their crimes? It's simple. The hosts are intentionally covering these things up. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. We know BFDI was televised. In BFB 30, there's a flashback scene where 4 watches BFDI.
And 4 was the biggest fan, bigger than you can possibly imagine. He'd sit and memorize BFDI episodes. He was in love with it. Still watching that BFBDFI show thing, are you?
Oh, this is my favorite scene of this episode.
Let's take some time to commemorate Blocky's elimination.
No, let's not do that. I agree, let's not. One day, Axe people are gonna be quoting me. I'm gonna be on that show.
Really, 4?
The world's gonna know my name. I'll be the favorite. I'll be the favorite.
What's the second?
All the times do we see the characters watching the TV in this universe, they never show any of, like, the bad things the hosts do. Clearly, BFDI is being televised, and we don't really see the bad things that the hosts are doing. So the hosts themselves must be covering these things up, sweeping it under the rug. This could also explain another thing. Maybe after the events of BFDI, announcer is exposed for these crimes, but suffers greatly for it. In the finale of Season 1, the announcer leaves Earth. Maybe the reason why he left is because he was getting charged for all these crimes and he didn't want to face the music. This could also explain why he was trying to hide from the other contestants in BFDI A6.
Alert, alert, fiery speaker box. I was nearly found out last episode.
Oh dear, that's not good.
I need you to eat yoyleberries, so you will look like me, and if anyone claims they saw me, you will say it was you after turning into metal.
But I hate...
This could also explain why, in the BFDI universe itself, the first 2 seasons are like lost media.
So wait, none of it is preserved? Like, at all?
Some clips exist on the internet, but this is the last existing archive of the whole show. It's my life's work.
Maybe these episodes got taken down because of the crimes announcer committed, and so they don't want to, have these episodes online anymore. They don't want to broadcast these episodes anymore. Because for the announcer are committing horrible, horrible crimes. And they cover it up using editing skills, only to be exposed later and try to evade the cops. Kind of a crazy theory, I know. Before I start talking about this theory, I think it goes without saying that objects can live for a very long time. Match says in BFDA 2 that she's been dealing with Spongy for many years.
Listen, I've had to deal with Spongy for over 17 million years, and it's such a relief to finally see him gone.
Now, it does sound like she's exaggerating a little when she says this, and honestly, it does feel like something Match would say, but there's more truth to this theory. In the very next episode, it's revealed Golf Ball was the person who wrote the BFDI Tips and Tricks book. And well, just see for yourself.
Look, Bubble, this book is over 1 billion years old, and it's written by Golf Ball.
Not only that, but Golf Ball is specifically called one of the geniuses from the dawn of time. in BFDI 15.
Wait, my prize! Let's consult the earliest geniuses from the dawn of time. Oh, ew. I'm over 1 billion years old, and in my... You sure look like it.
Clearly, Golf Ball is very old. This also means she could have lived through the rise and fall of Yoyleland. In BFDI 13, Gelatin, or someone, says that the bakery that they're in Yoyleland hasn't been open since 1337, or around that time.
Here's your cookie.
Ew! It's even more stale!
Well, duh. This bakery hasn't been in operation since 1338.
600 years old?!
This means that Yoyleland must have fallen around this time. Meaning that Golf Ball could have very easily lived through it. Meaning that Golf Ball could have been a citizen. Now here's a real never insane thing. I think Yoyleland might have been the original creator of A Battle for Dream Island. Remember, that book, specifically called BFDI Tips and Tricks, was published 1 billion years ago. Long time ago. Given objects can live for a very long time, perhaps they were all running Yoyle City. So, I think that maybe Golf Ball competed on this original season, which is why she wrote a book about it. Maybe she was the winner or something like that, I don't know. But then after that, she went on to bigger and better stuff and became a renowned scientist. But then comes the Science Museum scene.
Where are you, Bozo? You need punishment. You can hide forever, Bozo.
What exactly is this scene? Well, my sister told me that maybe this shadow creature could have been a failed experiment. Maybe this is something Golf Ball invented that went wrong. I mean, we know that Yoyle technology is very advanced. It far exceeds that as humans. In IDFB Blood, there's literally a freaking wall teleporter.
Oh, my place where tennis balls are created! It's a wall teleporter! I've always heard about these things, but I never knew they were a reality!
And in BFDI 13, there's this thing called the Enhancement Yoyliser or something like that, which can literally change people.
Be careful not to jump! But he doesn't look any different! Oh, yeah, he's different, alright.
Maybe we should dial the chaos back a bit.
Yeah.
When it zapped Rocky, all of a sudden, Rocky now regains the ability to not only just barf, but now it seems like he can switch between barfing and vomiting up acid. This thing is extremely powerful. The Yoylees were extremely powerful. And they made all these crazy stuff, so they probably could have made some weird Frankenstein-like creature. But this creature must have revolted somehow and killed everybody else, because we don't see anyone else in this science museum. So Golf Ball tries to escape, and so she escapes to Goinky. Oh yeah, and I haven't said it yet. Bozo is probably Golf Ball. So when Golf Ball goes to Goinky, I think she tries to live a normal life, but after that trauma, she just becomes really bossy. Maybe this trauma is why Golf Ball's so bossy. But then, how does BFDI return? Well, I think Golf Ball remembered BFDI and was like, hey, maybe I can pass down these stories generation to generation if I remake this. We know Total Fiery Island is canon, thanks to the time travel insanity in Teapot 15. So, I think this was a dream Golf Ball had. And isn't it weird that when they time travel, she sees... Isn't it weird that when they time travel, we see Golf Ball herself?
Ah, what is happening? It would be cool if it was Total Golf Ball Island.
No.
Uh-huh.
Of all the people from Total Fiery Island they could have chosen, They drew a golf ball. Maybe the creators are trying to tell us something. Maybe Golf Ball was the person who dreamt up Total Fiery Island, given she's one of the characters who we specifically see. But this also means that she could have potentially been the creator of the announcers. Total Fiery Island was the first appearance of the announcer ever. So Golf Ball maybe spent a little while making this announcer creature because she didn't want to host BFDI because, like, no one will listen to her. If she tries to host BFDI, no one's going to do it because she's bossy. So she creates someone else to fill the strings. And so, the announcers were born. They were created by Golf Ball, who was a former Yoyle citizen, who's the only surviving member left of their species. But there's one more thing that I think some of you might be saying. Couldn't these Yoyles been recovered? I don't think so. Not only does no one ever try to recover them, I also don't think that they were created when this happened. Maybe it has something to do with the birds going extinct in the episode, in the previous theory I talked about, and so they made the recovery centers after that. But this probably was like after the whole fall of the Yoyle. So everyone who was alive then, they all had to hand in their DNA to recovery centers, I think, and then they'd be able to be recovered. So all the other Yoyles are gone. Golf Ball's the only one remaining, and so she decides to pass down these old stories. Or, if recovery centers did exist all the way back then, maybe Golf Ball's just too traumatized to do it. So yes, that's my theory. Golf Ball was originally Yoyles. She competed in this original version of Battle for Dream Island. Then after that, she wrote a book about it, became a famous scientist, created the Shadow Monster that eradicated all of the citizens except for her. She escaped, became very bossy, had a dream where she remembered Battle for Dream Island, created an announcer creature so it could host, and then, so yeah. It's a very crazy and outlandish theory, but I can honestly see it being possible. So yeah, that's the video. Those are my 5 theories about BFDI. Obviously, these aren't the most likely theories on Earth. You'd probably come up with quite a few points of contention of them. But I'm just glad I was able to make these goofy theories to help explain certain things in BFDI. My next video should be a further analysis of Teapot 19 now that it came out. And, oh boy, there's a lot of things you could say, a lot of weird things that we're gonna have to figure out what happens next. That should be coming out soon, but I hope you enjoyed this goofy little theory video. I know these aren't like MatPat level theories, but honestly, I still enjoyed making this video. I'm FieryFan22, and I'm gonna be signing off. Goodbye, everyone. Oh, and before this video ends, I'd like to also take a moment to show everyone all the signatures I got at this year's tour. I got a lot of them, mostly from people who I saw in the lobby. You can look at these if you want. And also, I have this really awesome movie poster I made of a potential Teapot movie, but the finale to the show, and here's one at the top, here's 2 and 4 at the bottom. It's a very cool theory, like poster, and I like it. Also, you can't see it, but I put somewhere to go as this free. Anyways, that's what I wanted to show you in the video. Okay, bye!